Welcome to what totally happened in Alone in the Dark 2024. In Alone in the Dark we totally follow Jim Hopper from Stranger Things, who now works as a fraud examiner. However, after the events of season 4 he still hasn't gotten enough of weird and rather strange things, so he decides to take on a case of Emily Hartwood to satisfy his needs for the extraordinary and also live up to his new role. Emily is looking for her dad Jeremy, who left when she was little to quote, "be back soon." Little did she know he was actually going to run away to Louisiana to avoid paying child support and using that money to build himself a weird haunted swamp mansion to commit tax fraud with his alcoholic hallucinative drinking buddies. However, she managed to learn the address of said house through the copy-paste off-the-shelf birthday card he sent her 1.5 months before her 18th birthday. She's actually turned 22. Based on this birthday card, the two of them hop into Hopper's Tesla Model S and leave to check it out. Upon their arrival at the Swamp Manor, Emily and Jim find themselves in a predicament since the initial enthusiasm of a reunion between the IRS and its rightful taxpayers' money is unfortunately stopped by a closed front door.
Hello? Hello?
Looks abandoned.
Given these unforeseeable circumstances, they do the only logical thing. They commit domestic disturbance by illegally entering the premises to open the front door from the inside without any kind of warrant. On his way through the house, Hopper naturally takes everything he can get his hands on and tries to open every door he comes across.
Nah, I'm not getting in there. Don't mind if I do. I need the key. It's wedged shut. Looks important.
He then finally manages to open the front door after letting Emily wait for way longer than she probably would have needed to if it wasn't for Hopper's nimble fingers.
What are you doing? Who are you?
In a surprising turn of events, the residents are not all too delighted to see some random strangers in their house.
I hope you don't mind we let ourselves inside.
I do mind. This is private property. You can't just barge in here.
After a profound polemic, the nice lady eventually reconsiders and lets the two trespassers stay in Jeremy's room. They also learn that he went missing. Again.
Please leave immediately.
Look, we're not here to cause any trouble. Just let us see the old man.
Jeremy has gone missing.
In that case, we'll just wait in his room. You don't mind, do you?
Wait, you can't.
Don't worry, we'll be discreet.
In the corridor. It's the first door on your left.
Excellent. Thank you, madam.
In an effort to secure evidence, they find a weird painting of him flexing with some weird jewelry. Hopper accidentally takes a deep gallant sniff right next to it, which then triggers some cosmic hallucinations caused by the traditional gloss paint used for said painting. This is when Hopper's upside down Wagner senses start to tingle and everything gets a little strange.
What the hell is going on? Where am I?
He now finds himself in what appears to be an alternate dimension brought forth by the chemicals comprised within the paint. Hopper then finds out that Jeremy is hiding inside this place, and in order to navigate it, he needs to find Jeremy's old Rolex Datejust Free-Spin Face Special Edition, which he then sets out to find.
I think Jeremy's hiding in a way we can't find him. He has this juju necklace that guides him.
The talisman?
That's right. It's some magic charm he got from Miss Jackson down the street.
Thanks. I'll have a look.
On his way he encounters several mud monsters which he is able to chop her down with an axe. This was an impressive display of intellectual wordplay on my part. This is a perfect time to give this video a thumbs up. Hopper is then able to acquire the item in question and uses its limited edition special function to get back to the real world.
It's showing something. A place? Where is that?
Where he ends up directly in the office of Dr. Gray, an alcoholic co-conspirator of Jeremy's large-scale tax fraud scheme and apparently the one who runs the place in Jeremy's absence. He then proceeds to offer Hopper an alcoholic beverage in hopes of him getting drunk and forgetting all about it.
Why don't you tell me where I can find Jeremy Hartwood?
Why wouldn't that make for a short visit? I wish I could tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know. A drink, detective?
Of course, the professional fraud examiner that Jim Hopper is, he refuses since he's on duty.
Try this.
Ooh, it's good. Got a bite?
As Hopper exits the office, he runs into Emily, who seems perplexed that he has already conversed with Dr. Gray. However, she's not slightly distressed by the fact that Jim is covered in bloodstains.
Detective Carnby, where did you go?
I was just talking to Dr. Gray.
You disappeared.
No, it's not what you think. Have you found anything strange going on here? Paranormal, even?
Detective, are you gonna be alright?
Yeah, of course. Go talk to Dr. Gray. We'll rendezvous later.
On his way back to Jeremy's room, he stumbles upon yet another alcoholic, to be precise the one that was supposed to look after Grace, the little girl. To no surprise, he already has lost her out of sight, but in his defense it's kinda hard to see with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.3%.
It's fine.
You know, I'm kind of busy with my own case of a missing person. I was wondering if you seen Grace, girl about yay high? Well, I'm looking for her.
After this brief encounter, Hopper continues his quest for IRS justice by doing the next logical thing. He collects randomly spread tiles of a puzzle throughout the manor, so he can then solve a puzzle within the grandfather's clock in the corridor, so he can then put his Datejust in to get another cosmic lost paint hallucination. One of these tiles, for example, can be acquired after filling up a random hole with water, so he can then take it out of a bucket. In order to do so, he needed an extra extension for the hose. There was simply no other way of going about it. And if that logic does not sound plausible to you, I guess you're just not cut out to be an investigator such as Hopper. Anyway, back in the Down Under we meet another one of Jeremy's associates. With her impressive flashlight skills, she conjures up a reimagined version of Krampus who directly goes after Hopper, likely due to his acceptance of a drink while on duty. Before the devilish beast is able to unleash its fury upon the poor duty drinker, Hopper is able to get hold of a very important bag filled with evidence of the heinous tax evader's wrongdoings, before tumbling due to his alcohol blood concentration and falling back to reality. Upon returning to the tax evader's mansion, Hopper immediately opens the Louis Vuitton Keep All 50 with shoulder strap only to find out that all the withering evidence has been reduced to a palette knife. Frustrated by the fact that he can't go home yet, he proceeds to steal a shotgun from the wall, which clearly isn't his property, but no one's around to complain. And as we all know, as long as you're not caught, the range of what is considered legal widens considerably. Looking around for more clues, Hopper enters the kitchen where a scene comparable to the end of his last serious relationship is playing out.
What are you doing in my kitchen? I assure you. No,
I'm sorry,
I promise you. Mr. Hartwood is
I was just
nowhere
looking
near my
for-
kitchen, and neither should you be. Don't make me
I didn't
kick you
mean
out
to-
of this house.
Sorry.
Now get out!
Yeah.
After this rather unpleasant reminder of his dating skills, Hopper assumes the role of a responsible adult and smokes directly in front of a child. No hard feelings though, since she's probably the real mastermind behind this large-scale tax evasion scheme. Later he then has his first encounter with the last of Jeremy's fraud friends. Using her 30s style perm, her seductive voice, alcohol and the occasional jazz piano chord, she tries to seduce Hopper into dropping the case.
Detective Carnby, how good of you to come. Let me pour you a drink.
However, Hopper, just recently reminded of why he should remain a safe distance from the opposite sex for a bit longer, resists the stellar display of post-World War I charms and stays on track. Naturally, he declines the alcohol as well.
How that could have such consequences is beyond me.
After some more challenging riddles around the house, it's finally time for Hopper to go back into the Down Under to finally bring Jeremy to justice.
I knew it. I knew it would work. I'm getting good at this, Carnby.
This is also when he runs into his first Elden Ring Millennia type boss fight. After the intense battle, Hopper finally manages to find the master of fraud and evasion and confronts him. Jeremy then tries to talk himself out of it by saying he fell victim to a spam email from a Nigerian man and now has nothing left.
I made a terrible promise with the Dark Man. Who is he?
I promised him everything.
When Jim tells him that this does not clear his GTA 5-star IRS prosecution level and he is most likely to be imprisoned, Jeremy plays the oldest trick of look behind you and makes a run for it. The professional investigator that Hopper is, he naturally falls for it, quite literally, and he's transported back to Louisiana.
Look out! Behind you! Run!
Shortly after his return, however, Hopper hops him back into the other world to continue his chase of the perpetrator. He is able to locate him in a sort of venue, being the only attendant. Must have been a signing session of the Elevator Boys. After confronting him once more, Jeremy makes a run for it again.
God damn it, Jeremy.
Questioning his own abilities, Hopper decides to go after the Darkman for now. In order to do so, he apparently has to visit the library in the Upside Down as he is told by
Juan Luis Jorge. You'll have to chase enlightenment elsewhere.
So what's the next best thing? What can I do here?
You should seek out the convent library and try to find the truth about Jeremy's relationship with the Dark Man.
Whilst browsing through various books in hopes of finding an answer, he gets distracted by one of the probably most exhilarating books, Data Structures and Algorithms in Java 2nd edition by Robert Lafour. Completely captivated by the combinatorial problems involving permutations, Hopper does not realize until the last second that the book is being taken from his hands by none other than the Darkman himself, who apparently is some sort of ancient pharaoh and not a Nigerian man.
Their contribution. Hey.
Unable to learn more about recursively creating and swapping elements to generate all permutations of a sequence, Hopper naturally tries to end it all, however reconsiders.
I was so close. Right.
Good luck, detective.
After calming down, Hopper travels to Egypt to locate the misplaced tax money. He picks up a promising trail that leads him into a sunken temple, apparently where the Darkman is hiding his surreptitious tax money. Hopper manages to find a rope which allows him to climb down and safely reach the inside of the ancient temple. He doesn't seem to be concerned by the fact that the rope he descended on falls down behind him shortly after. But there is simply no time to be worried when there is tax money to be collected. After some Indiana Jones in the Pyramid of the Sorcerer action, he is able to unveil the hidden stash with some laser ray beam.
Good work.
Upon investigating, he is only able to loot a weak blade of the calling with weird attribute scaling and a recipe for Tim Meltzer potato salad. With this rather disappointing haul, he is now stuck at the bottom of his temple. Lucky for him, some state intelligence pigeon drones are able to carry him out. When he comes back to it, he finds himself in the attic and decides that he is done with this case and wants to go home. As he drives further and further away, the dark forces surrounding the swamp mansion continue to exert a stronger pull on him, until he is unable to control his Tesla Model S and drives off a bridge. Regaining his consciousness, he wakes up in a bathtub back at the mansion and he realizes that in order to leave, he has to fulfill his duty. In an attempt to enter the mysterious place one last time and finally bring IRS justice upon Jeremy, he teams up with Emily to find a way in. After attempting various methods, they successfully open a gateway within Dr. Gray's antique wardrobe. However, that one leads to Narnia and both of them don't really want to deal with the treacherous niche that Edmund is on top of everything else. Therefore, they must find an alternative solution. Lucky for them, Hopper still has his limited edition Rolex Datejust, which he's then able to use to transport himself to the otherworldly realm of strangeness. He now finds himself in a dark and freezing environment where he has to reach the top of a hill similar to your grandfather's way to school. At the top he then embraces Jeremy, who seems to be cosplaying the average Reddit user. Sorry, that was inappropriate and uncalled for. One should never make fun of other people's appearances or taste. Besides, he looks more like an average fan of Taylor Swift. Being fed up with all of Jeremy's shenanigans and using his secret special detective spidey senses alongside the Blade of the Calling from the Egypt temple, Hopper instantly not only sees but also steps through Jeremy's disguise, and both of them fall into the abyss and eventually back into the mansion. Still being blinded by the rage and probably all the alcohol he consumed on the way, Hopper KOs the Darkman who apparently was walking by.
You want me to lose my mind?
On his way out of this madness, he comes across all the other residents of the tax fraud swamp mansion who try to work out a plan to get rid of Jim.
Doc, let's bet it all. But we don't know what we're dealing with.
When they come to realize that Hopper is eavesdropping, they try to end it here and now.
Stop!
To Hopper's luck, the loud chatter of the fraudsters awakens the slumbering spirit of the Lorax, who then proceeds to possess the big tree and observatory. Quite literally burning with rage due to the vast amount of trees that had to be cut down to make place for this mansion, the Lorax proceeds to go after the residents of said manor and lands on an impressive kill streak of 7 people.
Come with me, Jeremy!
Oh wait, actually only 6 because Hopper shot this guy first, but still, quite impressive. Shortly after, the Lorax also directs its attention towards Hopper, who did carry an axe at one time, so it also goes after him. Once the situation also has been dealt with, Hopper eventually manages to escape the now burning mansion. A truly sad day for the IRS since there is no property to be seized. At the very least, he is able to take Jeremy into custody. I give Stranger Things Season 5 4.5 out of 5 overused tax fraud jokes. I hope you enjoyed this experience as much as I did. See you in about 6 months. Until then, I wish you a jolly good time. Goodbye.